Hey, welcome to the new meta, episode 102.
102.
All right,
Man.
really quick, I'm going to comment on this. The 102. When you watch people talk about triple digit or four digit numbers, does it get under your skin if they say episode 102? Or like, let's say you need to get your power score to 337 instead of 337 when they say 337 or 468.
It bothers me when people say 100 and or 300 and. If you add the
Did I say 102 or did I say 102? I think I said 102.
Yeah, you said
102.
102 versus 100.
Yeah, I don't think I put the and in there. Yeah.
I hate when
Yeah.
people say and. That gets me.
It was a thing that I think people are trying to be cool and like, I'll use Destiny as a reference. Get your light level to 957 and then you can, it's like, dude, say 957. Like it's not 957. Anyway,
That doesn't bother me. It bothers the and always bothers me way more.
Welcome to the new meta. Man, we
102. There you go.
102. 102. 102. We got juice last week, man. We got PTR since the last podcast.
Yeah.
We got to play it. We got to test things.
Mm-hmm.
We got polls to talk about. We got a lot of stuff, man.
The POE league announcement as well.
POE
I know.
league,
That's why your background. You're so hyped for it.
Yeah, I'm so hyped.
Like, if you guys don't know, like we do the pre-record. If you're a Patreon person, he was telling me he was like a little schoolgirl before this thing fired up for 10 minutes straight.
So giddy. You'll have to listen to it on the Patreon.
He loves Animal Crossing. He loves farming turnips in Animal Crossing, and so this league.
Is that what this is?
We'll get into it. We'll get into it.
They're getting on that hype train now. It's gonna be funny. But let's start off, I guess. Speaking of the Patreon, let's just talk about it really quick and knock it out. We have a Patreon. If you guys want to support the new meta, there are some cool perks like listening to the pre-show talks. Sluff and I just had a 10-minute conversation you can listen to if you become a member of the Patreon, as well as other things. You can check it out. Links are below. We have a question from last week.
Yeah. So super topical now, but will PTR hit the week of 1024 or will it get delayed for another week? And I don't know why I hit 1024. It's 524, but
yeah.
PTR typo.
I didn't totally.
So of course, no way, but let's just see what the results are because our votes don't matter. It was pretty split again.
It's so split.
Most people thought it would hit 55% versus 45%. And sure enough, it hit.
Yeah, it did hit. The next poll should say, will this poll be split? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Let's see if it's split. We've had some good ones, man.
Yeah.
Are you hacking them? Are you like...
Yeah, I'm VPNing and...
You're VPNing and balancing them out?
Yep.
That makes sense.
100 and plus times, you know?
So we did get the PTR, so all you know ways.
Suck it, PTR says. Did we got it Thursday?
Yes, maybe? Yeah, it was Thursday.
Yeah.
You got it Thursday.
Yep.
It was like a long time ago, didn't it?
It does. Quick weekend. And then the question for next week, because this is very topical right now, because theoretically, well, I see a lot of people asking it in chat already. Theoretically, if PTR ends, it's a 2-week span usually, and it started on the 28th. So 1 week would be June 4th, 2 weeks would be June 11th. So theoretically, this season could end June 14th, which always ends on a Sunday in the evening time.
Yeah.
And the past, 4 or 5 seasons in a row, they've started that immediate Friday afterwards.
Didn't they take a week break last season?
Did they?
I think they did, but I'm sure comments will correct me if I'm wrong. But I thought they had a week of downtime for the patch, for the Crusader. Was the Crusader patch?
Oh, because I think they didn't they make a change from PTR?
Or was it the Barb when the Barb got the new belt? And I don't know, man. There was definitely one of them where they had a week downtime of like no season. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I liked it. But yeah, you're right. I think historically, though, the majority, if not all, have been end Sunday, start Friday.
Yeah.
Which would put it on ding, 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 ding.
June 19th, which we'll talk about in a minute, but Path of Exile literally just announced theirs for June 19th.
So here's the good news. The good news is they haven't announced this yet.
Right.
Diablo hasn't announced it. Blizzard hasn't announced it. they have time to fix this. They have time to say, okay, we were going to end the season on the 11th. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Let's do it a week later.
Yeah,
or
add
2
more
weeks
things,
later.
you know? Fix
Yeah,
the
it gives you
Hydra
more.
set.
It gives you more time to
Right.
like tweak things. It gives you more cushion for deployments. Like all of these good things can happen in this free time. So if you're listening, Blizzard, don't do it.
They're gonna line up. They're gonna line up.
But the question is, if they do line up, what are you gonna play?
That's the question. Should
We already
PoE
know what you're gonna play, Flo.
should PoE Harvest and Diablo Season 21 start on the same day again? Which will you be playing? That is the question for this week, team. We'll spam it in chat.
So
We're not gonna talk about it.
yeah, I think yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait to see.
I know what you're picking.
Yeah.
Based on our pre-stream conversation.
If you guys want to know,
he said to me, guys, he said to me, quote, I'm tired of my eyes just glazing over when you start talking about PoE. I'm going to learn it inside and out. I'm going to master it. So we're going to have some great conversation piece on the podcast. It's going to be great, guys.
It's going to be amazing.
But yeah, new patch hit PTR last Thursday.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So before we get into
so much.
the feedback, I wanted to quickly touch on something we don't usually touch on a lot, which is just sheer appearance of these
That
new
was
sets.
one of the first things that I kind of looked at too when I was checking them out. I was like, oh, let's see what they look like.
Yeah. So
Let's start with Necro. What'd you think?
I think like brown is kind of weird. I guess.
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cosmetically, I think it looks pretty cool, but I would have to say one of the first things I do with all the sets is I try to dye them to see how the dyes apply. And neither of these sets, the dyes apply very well at all. There are too many segments that just don't get dye applied to them. And that bugs me a lot because I'm like, well, I can't really dye it because it looks like there's like brown patches in like my white outfit now. So, yeah, it's cool. I don't really like the choice. I like to either have my sets usually be pure white or pure black because I just, either good or evil. I don't know.
Yeah, I for one, I the shoulders to me kind of scream like Blood Elf from World of Warcraft for some reason.
Yeah.
And then two, I really hate helmets where you see the Necro's hair. Like I always hate the helmets that you put on that look really cool, but then in the back you like see that he has like hair and shit still. Like I really don't like that. Yeah. I always prefer helmets.
I think
that
it looks
covered.
It looks like I'm nobility is kind of what the crown thing screams to me. It's like, I'm important. I used to be like the king shit or something. The green on the shoulders looks very Blood Elf or Demon Hunter-esque from WoW. I kind of got that vibe. I like the green accents. Those things I don't think need to dye, but all of the brown coloring on it needs to dye, in my opinion. That would be really cool. But it's okay. I don't hate it. I think Anarius is still the coolest looking Necro set.
I like Trag'Oul best.
Trag'Oul's good too. I like Trag'Oul's, but Anarius looks pretty baller.
I'd really like Anarius if it didn't have that weird like halo behind Anarius' head, but it makes sense because it's fucking Anarius. But I just like menacing, really menacing looking sets, and this one like it looks somewhat menacing. But again, like I'm not really someone that I don't care at the end of the day. But like if you're asking me my opinion on it, it's not.
It did have the mask thing. I thought the mask was kind of coolish that you could dye the color of the mask slightly. So it's okay. Yeah. I don't dislike it, but I don't think I'm going to transmog all of my Necro sets to it.
Right.
I think like you, I would either stick Anarius or stick Trag'Oul's. Those are kind of my go-tos.
Yeah, same.
Necro.
And then the DH.
This to me screamed of our current climate. When I saw this, I'm like, this has got Corona inspiration written all over it with that Demon Hunter mask with the big filters on the front. I kind of dig it, man. Like again, it doesn't color hardly at all, and that bugs me. But I like it, man. I think it's okay. I think it's like one of these, 10 years from now, if the D3 servers are still up and we log in and we play this set, we're going to be like, you remember Corona stuff? Like, man, this reminds me of that. So it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite Demon Hunter set either, but
You know, the one thing, like, so yeah, I see this and I see the same thing. It's very like poison theme, and you know me, I actually love poison. Like in any game, like I've always just want to play like poison builds. And it's just like, wait, well, DH doesn't like have poison, so it's like it's disappointing at the end of the day because they don't even like do poison.
it's because they filter it all out.
Yeah, but you know what else?
Yeah.
Well, you know, like the seasonal theme, the green meteors, man. They don't do shit, but they look so cool. But they look cool. The green, like, oh my God. That goes back to skill effects from Path of Exile. Like, why doesn't Diablo have them? Like, people would buy that up. If I can make my meteor green, I'd pay $5-10 to do that. Let's go.
It looks good. I had a pack of trash sitting there, and then the meteor spawned, and they hit everywhere but my fucking pack of trash. Everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sitting here with this pack of trash, and they're going like all around it, and I'm like, surely one is gonna hit this pack of trash, right? Nope. So we'll talk about that.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a okay set. Again, this is the same. It's not my favorite DH sets. I think I usually go to UE. The Unhallowed Essence set is kind of my default, or Impale. I think Impale kind of looks cool. It's like a ninja, almost like, you're this hooded badass
assassin.
So yeah, so I kind of rock those too.
Yeah, I dig it. At the end, yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, I wish they colored better. I hope. Yeah. Well, there aren't any more new sets coming down the pipe, but if there's a way for them to make these like apply the coloring better, I think that would be pretty cool. So
yeah. Totes. But let's drill down into the play-by-play of everything that we've tested and just like go one by one on the patch notes and give our feedback as we go. And kind of what we've heard around the block from other people as well.
Yep.
So first up, obviously the seasonal theme. We talked about it a bit already. Very underwhelming.
Yeah, it has some positives to it too, though. So did your rotations double every time?
Rotations?
Like the rotations of so when the 2-minute timer goes off and you get one of the elements, whether it's meteors or the breathe lightning or the wall, mine doubled. It went like meteor, breath, wall, twister, like every time. And I'm like, this can't be coincidence, because there's no way randomness would work that way. And I'm just like, this is kind of crazy. So I didn't spend a whole crazy amount of time testing it. I just wanted to see them all. But I had to stand there for double the duration for every single one to get them.
I'm not sure I ever noticed a double up other than that, the rainbow beam that comes out of you. That one always seems to double up for me. But like I don't know if I've ever seen the meteors with like the tornadoes or anything like that.
No. I don't mean like it just did it twice. So like the 2-minute timer goes and it was meteors. And then 2 minutes later, it was meteors again.
Oh, so like
2 minutes later, it was breathe lightning, and then 2 minutes later, it was breathe lightning again. Yeah. And so it repeated each one twice before it would go on to the next one.
Gotcha.
And like it could have just been a crazy, random, RNG that happened to me. But they didn't do a lot of damage, which that can be tweaked. I'm not really worried about that. Mechanically, though, the breathe lightning was okay because you could face your character whatever direction you wanted, and it would shoot it that direction.
Yeah.
The wall of flame kind of spawned in like shitty spots and just traveled one direction, and then it went away. And I was like, well, that was pathetic. Meteors looked really cool, like you said, man. They're awesome looking, but they just didn't hit my trash pack one time. I'm like, okay, that sucks. The twister, I didn't hardly even notice when it spawned. I'm like, oh,
it was just like the kill streak season 1. Yeah, it just doesn't do the damage that did.
It's like, this is the thing. Okay, didn't even notice it for a little bit. And then honestly, I don't even
it's just like the Yeti thing.
Yeah, I didn't. I was kind
of the one thing that I did notice, like, so I was doing a lot of speed farm builds, obviously, because that's like my jam, and none of these like really go with you besides the rainbow beam. Yeah. And that was like, okay, like I didn't 99% of the times, like, did I even get one? I don't even know. Plus the riff only lasts like 3 minutes, so you get like one.
The pros and cons of it. So like if they juice it up, the pros are, okay, the seasonal theme does something. The cons are the seasonal theme does something. So now you're going to be reliant on the seasonal theme anytime you're pushing anything. And do we really want that? I don't know. Some people do, I guess. I
Sure. Would you
personally
like that?
don't think I do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I want the seasonal theme to not
Suck.
to not suck. So I don't
Yeah.
know. It's like a pick your poison scenario
Yeah.
for me. What are your thoughts on that? How do you feel?
Um. Yeah. I mean, like, Wujito brought up a good point where, like, at the very least, it changes up how you play. But the fact
Mhm.
that we already had like a kill streak season, you're not really. I mean, you're changing up how you play from last season, but like we did this play 2 seasons ago, so it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not super different. I have heard that there is some wonkiness with like stacking area damage, and they do much more if you do that.
Mm.
So like some people are going into like risk as support or with supports and like stacking
That
area
have crazy
damage.
area
Yeah.
damage. That would be God. Could you imagine supports actually helping contribute
damn
to the
right.
rift? Like, fuck,
I got
dude.
this guy, the support monk.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. I would totally change the play. That could be interesting, I guess,
Yeah.
but at the same time, how OP is that going to be?
Yeah.
Because if you can have a single character now, or, two characters before doing the rift, and you just added 2 more damage types to it, like, yikes. They're going to steamroll them even harder.
Right.
So, yeah, look, I don't have any great ideas for seasonal themes at this point. Unless they can start introducing new mechanics to the game, I don't know what else they can do. I would think after this seasonal theme, there's going to start rotating them. We got the new sets, we got the new things. Don't you think this is it? Do you think this is the last one? And we're going to
I
start
mean,
repeating?
I still think like Cap Paragon would be a good season theme. I do think that using Romaldi's as they originally intended could be an interesting seasonal theme, but that might be too strong for non-season, like when it rolls over. So Romaldi's gift.
What do you mean using it as they expected it to?
Yeah, so Romaldi's gift, when they were first put in the game originally, it was meant for jewelry, not for weapons.
Right.
And so if you could use on jewelry for a season, like that'd be like that's 5 primaries or 6 if you're compass rose or whatever, and that'd be pretty interesting. Like you just get another stat.
Yeah.
I think that would be an interesting seasonal theme. Period. Is just having like instead of maybe 4 primaries, you have 6, and that I mean they'd be really really strong, but again, that seasonal gear rolling over to non-season would break the game. So
yeah, and yeah. It'd make hunting for that perfect ring or neck that much more difficult too.
Yeah. Which is
now
good. It's more of a time dump.
Yeah, you have to get a quad rolled ring to cube it, So people are like, "Oh, that would be awesome," and I'm like, "Yeah, it would be cool." You realize what that means, though. That means you're fishing for that ring even harder than before. So, but yeah, would it be cool? It would give you something to chase after, I guess. The seasonal theme's not going to be game changing for me. I personally think that anything you want in the cube was cool because it's. If you look at it, it's probably one of the lamest seasons, but it's also for me was one of the most intriguing because at least I had like choices. I'm like, okay, we just opened up all these new choices. What am I going to run? And for Necro, it was game changing, like what you could do with it. Obviously, if it stays, it's like, okay, the metas are discovered and this and that, so not a big deal. But I think things like that change the way that you think about your abilities would be cool. I just don't know what other things you could do, Yeah. So,
I mean, yeah, I'm sure if we brainstorm, though, we could think of a dozen.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to maybe for next season, for season 20. Maybe we should start that soon. Maybe I'll try to see if I can put together some way. We'll brainstorm on some way to get feedback from the communities about seasonal ideas because there's got to be some easy wins out there that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that we can get together and then try to get to Blizzard and let them see it. So maybe we can work on that for 21. But I don't know. What do you think about this? Like, how can they fix it? Can they make it cool? Can they make it fun? What should they do?
I don't know. I mean, I think that like what you said, if the seasonal theme's like super underwhelming, that is just going to feel bad. So I think if you're going to do it, just do it. Like if you want to make Killstreak season 2.0, like you should just do that. I don't think that having something that's meaningless, like it might as well not have a seasonal theme, So
it seems to me like people are going to do 150s either way.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's a couple seasons where I remember Blizz was like, listen, there's not gonna be a 150 this season. And then it was like a 150 like the first weekend.
Yeah.
It's like it's so hard to like, I don't know, man. People know the mechanics too well, or the things just can't be broken as well as they want. I think people are going to get a 150 regardless. So it's like just embrace the seasonal theme. Like let people go crazy with it and have a good time, and that'll encourage people to play season who maybe had never played it before. And yeah, I'm with you, man. Just run with it, because having it be too weak, I think, is more detrimental than having it be too OP.
Yeah.
The if it's too OP, people are going to say, "Well, good job, Blizzard. You fucked that one up." Like, look, I can go clear 140 now. GG's. But if it's underwhelming, they're going to be like, "What is this joke? Like, are you kidding me?" Like, I think it's just a different style of because people are going to talk shit either way.
Sure.
And I think the underwhelming is worse than the 2 OP. I mean, they could try to balance it and get it. What if it's scaled? What if it's scaled off percent of monster health?
That'd be terrible, because then you just get more strong as you get later.
Yeah, but it would. Yeah, like let's just say that like the breathe lightning goes off, and it's if it shoots an elite pack, right, for the entire duration, it's like 40% of his health.
I mean, it'd be kill streak season all over again, right?
Yeah, I guess, but it doesn't matter if you're doing a 100 or you're doing a 150.
Mm.
It's just 40% of the monster's health. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways,
next.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to fix it, but
right,
because the breathe lightning looked cool though. I did like it. Like the animation for that was cool, and the meteors were cool, and
I think like rainbows are coming out of your junk.
It's okay. It's all right. You're like Tom Brady. He pulled his pants down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Cock rocket. Yeah. But this is something I haven't tested, so I'm just going purely off of what you're going to say plus what I heard Wudijo say. Because I actually still haven't tested the DH set, because
really,
it's not Necro, so who cares, right? But yeah, so the gear of the Dreadlands. I'll just go over the feedback that I've heard first, and then you can talk about.
Sure. Yeah, so you tell me what you've heard.
Yeah. Across the board, I seem to be hearing from people that like the momentum stacks don't last long enough, and they don't give enough movement speed. Is what I've heard.
Kind of. Yeah. So.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you want to do all your points?
I mean, that's really all I have is that. Plus, obviously, it's not doing enough damage.
Yeah. So, initially, I was excited for the set. Strafe is probably one of my favorite skills in the game, if not my favorite skill in the game. I think it looks cool. I think your character looks badass when he's strafing around. And I know you're laughing because it's like spin to win.
Yeah.
But you combine that. I think it just looks so cool, and the concept of it is cool, and I just like it, man. I don't know what it is about it, but I just like it. I think it looks awesome. And so when I was so excited when we were going to get a strafe build, and especially when it was going to shoot the primaries, so I put it together and we went and tried it out, and then instantly you just start noticing things, and it wasn't at all what I expected. I expected a right click spin to win set. And it wasn't that at all. It's like reverse whirlwind. You basically stand still and shoot your primary to gain momentum stacks, which is then going to give you damage and the movement speed and everything else that comes with the momentum. And then when you need to move, you strafe, because you're strafing every 5 seconds or so to keep your defensive ability, your toughness up. And you can just use that to move around, move through enemies, and get to the position where you need to go, and then set up shop and shoot. And at first I hated it. I'm like, this is absolute garbage. What the hell? But the more I played it over the evening and put the set together and refined the set, the more the play style started to grow on me. It was more of a I started to embrace it a little bit and lean into it. I think Bolas was really fun with it, especially with the bow grouping things up and the damage, and it looked really, really cool and impressive just to see the Bolas shoot everywhere. Hungering Arrow was super snore fest to me. I didn't like Hungering Arrow at all. It did more damage, but it just didn't have the visual effects. It didn't look as cool. It didn't feel as cool. I don't know, man. Something about Hungering Arrow wasn't as fun to me. But my feedback is momentum stacks don't last long enough, and there's a couple ways to change it. The 4-piece doesn't proc the 2-piece. If the 4-piece proc the 2-piece, it would literally be whirlwind. Like you would shoot a couple times to get momentum initially started, and then you would strafe, and that strafe would proc the momentum 2-piece and then keep those stacks up, and you would never stop strafing.
Which would suck.
So, if you want it to be whirlwind, then make the 4-piece
Yeah.
proc the 2-piece, and then you don't even have to fuck with anything else. It's
Right.
just the set's pretty much complete. But I don't think Blizzard's gonna do that. I don't know if I'd be super upset if they did that. I don't really know how I feel, because now that I've played this other style, I like it too. But I do like strafe, so either way they go with that, I'd be okay. If they don't make the 4-piece proc the 2-piece, and I don't think they will, then there's a couple ways I think you could fix it. You could either have the 2-piece momentum stacks last longer than 2 seconds. Like each stack is 2 seconds. I think at minimum that should be 4 seconds, maybe even 6, to give you time to move in position. But also, they could either leave it at 2 seconds and have every cast refresh the entire stack, not each individual stack, and leave it short, or they could have it work more like a Taeguk, where every shot refreshes it. If they're gonna leave it super short, I don't know, man. It's hard to say without playing with the times, but I would think 10 seconds would be pretty decent, because it would take 10 shots to get you 10 stacks. And if each stack lasted 10 seconds, then a shot per second would keep you at your maximum stacks. So that sounds like it would feel good. You'd have to play it. That could be too long, and then you're strafing around too much. But all in all, it was okay. It was an okay play style. It wasn't like super game changing. And then I also think that there were some bugs with it. Like, for example, Simplicity Strength gem is the gem that makes your primary attacks do more damage. And on top of that, the secondary bonus of that gem is your primary attacks heal you. So that works when you're casting your primary, but when you're strafing and it's shooting your primary, the healing component of Simplicity Strength doesn't work.
But the damage does?
The damage does. So you're super squishy when you're strafing around. And so damage was laughable in the set. It definitely needed more damage, which that's fine. That's just number tweaking. Like, I think the first iteration of PTR is more about mechanically how does it play than the damage numbers. Like, they can easily add a 0 to the damage and fix that. And then toughness felt a little lacking to me too. I felt like extremely squishy in low GRs, like 100s, 105s. I was just like, and this is with 3500 Paragon. I felt like I was just getting pooped on pretty bad. So, I think they need to tweak toughness and tweak damage, and then momentum stacks need to be addressed somehow. And then another disappointing point to me, and this may not even actually end up being a thing, but let's say you're using like Entangling Shot with there's a bow that gives 150% damage increase to any enemies you have entangled. So you could run 2 primaries, and you could Entangling Shot for a second or two, and then strafe, and an Entangling Shot everything on the screen, and then switch back to your bolas, and then kill that shit, right? And like, it's just a fun play style mechanic.
That'd be dope, yeah.
But when you switch your primaries, all of your momentum stacks drop. They're tied to the primary. Yeah. So like, if you Entangling Shot, let's say I stand still and I Entangling Shot, and I'm like, pew, 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 pew. All right, I got like 5 stacks now or whatever. And then I start strafing, and my stacks are instantly dropping because they only last 2 seconds. So if I stack it up to 10 and then instantly just switch to bolus, it like, boom, stacks are gone from both sets. So you lose your damage bonus, you lose like all of the things that come from it, and you have to stand still and stack again. And so I honestly wish that they would remove it from being a primary thing to more like being a buff on your bar that works like Taeguk or Goguk or one of those gems. So whenever you cast the primary, just that buff pops up on your screen, and you can use anything you want to maintain it. So I'm interested to see how they address that, because I feel like if they have it to where you cast primary 1 time and it refreshes all 10 stacks, that could be a little okay. Now you're strafing a lot more than they intended it to be. But at the same time, like, if they don't make strafe work with the Simplicity 2-piece, like, they better give some crazy toughness, because that healing is really important for the survivability. So we'll see how it plays. Bolas was fun to play with it though, man. Like, you could use a bunch of different runes. Like, there was a frost rune that freezes everything, and you're grouping things up and freezing things, and you could, the ZDH, like I started to put together a ZDH build just for fun. Like, okay, what could we do if we were going to run 3-man? So tell me if you've seen this or heard this. I've been informed, my chat was telling me that there's going to be a Necro that can trash clear and RGK clear in 4-man metas now. It's going to be like triple support Necro. Have you heard that or seen that?
Yeah, I think there are actually multiple builds for Necro that could do it.
Yeah, so if you can run triple Z characters, then toughness is the issue with this ZDH. Like right now, the set doesn't offer enough toughness to stay alive. But if we can get toughness figured out, like having the entangling shot and the bolus grouping and freezing, if the set's going to run Crisbees at all, like you're freezing everything on the screen, you're grouping up everything on the screen. It's going to be nasty.
Mm-hmm.
It could be really nasty. So, that could be fun, I guess. But that's kind of my initial feedback from the set. Play style mechanics are interesting. It's newish. It's like an anti-whirlwind set, in my opinion. It's like a reverse whirlwind set, which is kind of okay. And they got to fix momentum somehow. That needs to be reworked. And please juice it up. Like make this the OP Demon Hunter set. Like don't let it be overshadowed by Impale or UE. Like what's going to happen right now is UE Hungering Arrow, I think, is like the thing. And like we've done this stuff, you know.
Sure. So the highest right now with the new set on season at 1080 Paragon is at 116. Looks like
at 1080 Paragon.
Yeah, he's using.
That's pretty low Paragon.
Yeah.
They're using Hungering Arrow. Hungering Arrow is so Snorefest, man. Bolus is so much cooler. I hope that they make Bolus better than Hungering Arrow.
I hope what you said about like switching between them. I want to see it more big brain, right? Like I want to see like using multiple primaries. I think that would be
like even encourage that. Could you build that in the set where they could stack?
Yeah.
Or you could stack momentums, like they multiply. So let's say you can get 10 stacks per primary. Like I didn't even think about that. What if you got 10 stacks per primary and you were encouraging the big brain, you know?
Yeah.
Stack. Like I hope that they find a way to embrace that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So I got to sneeze. Sorry. Go ahead. Let's talk about Necro.
So yeah, Necromancer. Actually, before we leave the DH, Holy Point shot, according to Udijo, this is just according to him because I don't really play 4-man metas on PTR. He says that the buff makes them competitive, but Crusader like still obviously wins. Crusader is still insane.
I've been reading that number. So, and I'm not a math cruncher, but the math crunching people that claim to be math crunchers say that number needs to go to 250 to 300. In order to make them competitive. And I'm like, damn, that seems like a huge jump to me.
Yeah, I wonder what that do for their solo.
That's what I'm saying. That makes me wonder, like, are these guys that are like, because there are some people that can play Impale like madmen,
right,
and really crush with it. And I'm like, are these guys that are Impale masters, are they just gonna just smoke with that 300%? I don't know. But you know, for 4-player, I would love to see Demon Hunters be RGK. I think that would be awesome. Even if they're not best, man, if they're like really close, like okay.
Right.
Because Crusader just has the utility. Like they can round trash up with the pony and you know, and do those things. And it's like I don't know what's Demon Hunter gonna bring to the table besides just damage.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So kind of like the same with Barb too.
True.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't touch Barb at all. So
no.
I feel like the Fury set
really
needs
strong.
more damage too. You know, like Whirlwind's juicy, but they got a new Fury set, and it's like it still isn't.
That seems like it should be an RGK. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like they should totally RGK. So
yeah. Anyways, but yeah. So getting into the Necro, I'm gonna actually skip the set and talk about the other things and come back to the set.
Okay.
And the reason for that is I think that the only thing that didn't hit is the new set. Everything else feels really good. So Grasp of Essence Corpse Explosion is just, it's so awesome.
Ooh.
Like
I leveled a season
character,
a Necro.
Yeah.
Dude, Corpse Explosion changes were juicy.
Right?
It was the easiest leveling I've ever had.
Roll those Grasp of Essence at level 1. Let's go, dude.
Oh man. I didn't even have Grasp Essence, dude. I didn't even have them.
Oh, really? You didn't even roll?
I'm still blowing up like if there was an elite next to a corpse, it's dead.
It's the base
and it
damage,
was like,
huh?
yeah, I mean, it's base damage increase.
Yeah.
It was just like, ooh, triple necro something. It did struggle a little bit on the Rift Guardian for me because you had to have corpses. Like once you used your corpses up, you're like, okay, now what am I gonna to do? But
right,
triple necro something to kill an RG was gonna be a sick, super sick leveling process. So, all right.
But yeah, so Grasp of Essence, obviously, like you said, it's going to make Necro like a leveling machine. It's going to be really good, especially since you can roll Grasp of Essence at level 1 with the challenge Rift Cache. So that's going to be big for any groups that are looking to like jump in the rat runs.
Rat runs.
We'll get into that in a second. So this also has a lot of implications. So one, it makes like the Corpse Mancer come back with an Arius, and Arius is going to be the starting set next season. So that's doubly good. Because Narius just gives a flat 10k damage mob, and with close quarters rune on Corpse Explosion, it's a very, very solid choice. We were doing like 105s, 110s with like high end gear in like 4 minutes basically, which is fantastic.
What were you pushing? What Paragon? Like
that was 3k air with good
it was juicy. Okay.
So I think with my non-season or my seasonal dude with he's got 950 Paragon or something like that. He's pretty easily doing like 90s, 95s in 2 to 3 minutes. So
they can get started super fast.
Yeah,
then seems like
But it is very squish early on because Necro is just like
it's Necro.
Even with that Anarius buff, which they buffed the the 4-piece to give it 3% instead of 2% reduction per hit. It's just like, I mean, Anarius to me should be like, you have to play melee because of how the 2-piece works. Like nothing gets that bonus until they're in close proximity of you. So like you would think that would be the tankiest set, but the new set is even more tanky than Anarius. And that just doesn't really make any sense to me.
So would you like to see them juice that 3% up to 4%, 5%?
Well, we'll get into sets in general towards like the end.
Okay.
But yes. But outside of that, so obviously for solo speed farming, this is huge. Anarius start, this is big. There's some really cool implications with Pestilence as well. But the biggest implication is 4-man, Corpse Explosion, and it's pushing too. So there's a push build that plays, you remember Cold Lancer.
Yeah.
It plays basically like that, except for your tanky.
Okay.
Because you're LOD. And you're just kind of waiting on cooldowns. Like you get up a whole big pack of trash, and then you're like, you just kind of sit there and like proc your Stricken, and then get everything cursed, and then wait for that poison rotation and land of dead to come back up, and then boom, things blow up. So very, very strong, which is cool to see. I did not expect that to come out of all this at all. But it is an option. It is cool to see, like, with these changes, Necro went from having LOD mages be like the only relevant push build, which is a terrible.
It sucks. That playstyle sucks so bad, dude.
But now we have, the Poison Scythe, which is by far and away the best, in my opinion, and Grasp of Essence, of course, Explosion. Like, it's going to be very, very popular as well.
I can't say Mages is the worst. Thorns was the worst.
Thorns is definitely the worst. That's true.
Thorns was the worst. Yeah,
that's very true. So yeah, the Grasp of Essence is amazing. Corpse Explosion change is amazing. Corpse Explosion is super gratifying skill. So I love that change.
It does feel good to just, watch things get deleted when you press that button.
Yeah. The only thing is, like, a lot of these builds are going to revolve around Land of the Dead, and, people fucking freak out about Land of the Dead.
It's the thing, man. It's such a,
But
maybe, you think it would be maybe put an item in the game that lets you cast Corpse Explosion without a corpse? Like permanent Land of the Dead almost. That would be super broken though. Yeah. You'd have to put it in a slot that really makes you sacrifice.
Yeah.
To put it on. Like what?
I don't think that there's any way with how Land of the Dead works that you wouldn't run Land of the Dead, period, if you're running a corpse build. Like it's too good. Even if they added other ways of generating corpses, I still think you would never get rid of Land of the Dead.
Right. Yeah, it's just so OP.
Haunted Visions, the simulacrums lasting forever. This is so good. It has a lot of so one is like the Blood Nova set, or the Blood Nova setup for T16. Like you got triple Novas now, like 100% uptime, which is really fun. It makes that like kind of, I would always play that like maybe mid-season because like it needs a little bit of Paragon to like really get going for T16, be crazy fast. But now it's just like jump right in. I jumped right in at like 400 Paragon T16, no problem at all. Like so good with triple novas. Yeah.
Do you think that they should just take the life per second off? Like,
yeah, it
why
doesn't
have
really
the
make sense.
1%?
I mean, it's
like,
nice because like it helps you proc your blood as power.
I guess. Like it seems like I had enough life regen to cancel it out.
Yeah. I don't,
you know what I mean?
I don't know if there's like, maybe there's some plans for the future with Trag'Oul that they don't want to take that away or take that off because Trag'Oul is still like the blood set. So maybe there's some implications happening with that. Because I do think that they'll eventually make Trag'Oul like the Nova set. Probably.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Death Nova is such, like, God, it's such a good animation.
Right. And then we did get confirmation, a lot of confusion around, last week where it's like people are like, no, now you only do Grim Scythe. It can no longer duplicate Skeleton Mage. That, of course, is not true. It does duplicate the Mage as long as you don't run Grim Scythe. So it'll still duplicate the Mage 100% of the time. Just don't run Grim Scythe. But them duplicating Grim Scythe is so amazing for the Poison Scythe push build. It feels so damn good to have those guys in there deleting shit. And there's a couple really cool things. One is that Ledger's Insane will still proc even if you're at full essence for your simulacrums. So like they swipe as hard as you would with 0 essence, which is good. So like all you have to do is like get the poison rotation and like make sure you're empty essence for a couple swipes, but they get full damage that whole poison rotation, which is crazy.
Nice. And they're still gonna do way more damage. Well,
not with the new set.
Not the new set. Yeah,
not the new set.
Gonna get the damage.
Yeah. The other kind of unknown side effect with this is that when you have Grim Scythe on your bar and they're duplicating it with you, they generate essence when they swipe.
For themselves?
No, for you.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Oh. So like
that's weird.
You would get essence, if you just Grim Scythe yourself without clones. Right. But you get the essence you would get from your swipe plus theirs.
Okay.
That's why it kind of makes it mandatory with the new set because it just generates so much essence that you'd be stupid not to run it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I love this change. These two changes are just amazing. Raises Volition. First people would read this and be like, okay, cool. Like mages are stronger and like rats, you're going to be more tanky. And that's definitely true. But the reason this is such a cool item is because it lets you use all these other runes that we've never used. So like now we can finally use archers. Now we can finally use blood mages. Now we can finally use the poison mage.
Without even running mages at all.
Yeah, true. And it's mitigation. It's pure mitigation for not having.
It's just pure damage. Yeah. If you're running a build and you're like, I'm so squish, throw on Raz's Volition and then boom, you're tankier. So.
Right. And the reason this is particularly amazing and I'm so hyped for it is because it does, it allows us to finally have a way of dumping essence on the Poison Scythe without being clunky. It'll proc a Nair stack because you get the Poison Mage now. So amazing change. So hyped for this. The Jessup 2-piece, it's just good. I'm so happy this is a thing. Like finally getting to use the Jessup Skull Shield and the Jessup Scythe, like it's actually relevant now. The skeletons proc Obsidian in the Zodiac, and it's off the GCD, so it's just like across the board, just good.
Yeah, but doesn't the Jessup shield not roll? Is it? It can't roll damage.
Yeah, it can't roll skill damage.
Skill damages. Yeah. So it is because there was
it's all 8% elite damage or 8% resource cost reduction. So you can use it.
Right.
So that's, it's big. The only thing I would say, and some of the feedback I gave is that we don't have a spammable poison rune. But I think that they could add that like later down the road and it would kind of mix things up again. So it's like an easy win.
Yeah.
Grayson Knights we talked about already. It's just not enough. And we'll get into sets in a second. And then finally the Pestilence double damage buff. Oh man, like it feels so good being able to run Pestilence again, and on our seasonal guy, he's keeping up with, Elinaria's Corpse Explosion, even though it's got like a crazy damage mod. Like the Corpse Lance is just so good. And then there's even like a new build you can put together with like Corpse Lance and Corpse Explosion, because Corpse Explosion got massively buffed, and so it actually feels really good. But both the Corpse Lancer and the Pestilence are still getting overshadowed by LOD Mage. Like it's just going to be better. Like I can juice up an LOD Mage, get the gems going, and I'm in like 100s already, and like I'm not even trying. Versus like really trying with Corpse Explosion and Pestilence and like pushing 90s, 95s. So I mean, I think this needs at least another double damage buff.
Actually go to 6,600.
Yep. Almost, maybe even like 7K. The only problem is maybe that would make it mandatory RGK.
Yeah.
And so one of the suggestions that got thrown around is like, well, what if we just reduce the 6-piece effectiveness against Rift Guardians? That would literally solve the problem.
Okay.
So, which would be kind of weird to throw in a set, but at the same time, like, you want to make the set fun and not make it like gimped, but you also don't want it to be like a mandatory RGK. So,
think they have flags in there to do that?
Probably. Because they have Stricken, right? Stricken's like, it does more
Yeah.
damage against Rift Guardians. So there's obviously a thing that they can do.
Yeah.
I just don't know how easy or hard it is.
So Pestilence pushing a thing again?
It can be.
Are we talking Cold Lancer all over again? Or what are we looking at?
Yeah, it would be Cold Lancer, but now with like a Jesseth instead of a Tragul. So you'd run
Scythe in the cube.
Yeah, I think someone actually did it here.
Like
I cleared
a
a 120 with it. I think someone did like more than me. Hang on, let me just pull it up. And one of these guys is for sure. Yeah, here we go. So a 7.7k Paragon did.
That's a lot of juice.
Yeah. A 132. And so it's just with Shadow Hook and you get permanent uptime. Wait, no, you don't. But it's squirts. And so you juice up your resource cost reduction because you're using captains, and Devour can proc Voracious, which reduces your resource costs even more, so it gives you that like extra mitigation. So, it's so fucking squishy though.
What am I overlooking? Why is the Jesseth better than a Scythe of the Cycle? You're not going to use Bone Armor. What are you switching Bone Armor for Skeletal Mage?
Scythe of the Cycle only buffs secondary skills. This is a Corpse Lance setup.
Okay. I thought for some reason it was all your damage by 400. Maybe I'm tripping.
Yeah. Honestly, that's the number one question I get across every build I've ever made is like, why not use Scythe of the Cycle, Forehead? Because like it says secondary skills, but like that's such a bad wording. Like, and it doesn't feel necro-y. It's like they should be like death skills or something like that, where it's so clear what they are. Right, but it says secondary skills, and people are like, well, if I put on my right click, it's like my second skill, right?
I thought it was all damage by 400.
No,
Maybe
it's just secondary. So it's just
Bone
Spear.
But
Nova,
I haven't made a non-rat mage necro in so long. Like that's all I run. It's like, oh, it's starting the season off. Cool, we're gonna do rats until I can't stand necro anymore.
Yeah,
and play something else. So,
so this will get stronger, obviously, if you double the damage. But I would consider myself like a really good Cold Lancer player. And I did a 117 at 2K, and I was able to do like a 120, 121 at 3K. And they say, doubling a damage of a set is equivalent to like 4 GRs. So even if they double the damage again, like I could maybe push like a 126, 127, and that's not that crazy. Still, no one would run it.
Scheme of where places are at now,
right? Yeah. So I think it could use another double damage off, and then they would make Pestilence like in line with LOD Mage for like speed farming, and it's just way more fun to play. So I think it's worth to do. Where were we at? Okay, so yeah, but this goes back to sets, right? So Necromancer sets, and this is something we struggled with since basically LOD got implemented. Necro sets suck. Like Necro sets suck so much more than every other class in the game. Like they're literally unusable, and you get 10k damage or 9,750% from LOD, and then you get the effect of every legendary that you have on. So like these sets have to be crazy good in order for you to even consider running them. So we going about talking about Anarius. Like, I can only get one form of mitigation from Anarius, and you're gonna like it's 1% more damage reduction per hit on 4-piece, like versus LOD where I could run like 4 mitigation items. Like, you have to make it competitive enough to compete with LOD.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Like 100%. And I don't understand the thought process in keeping Necros so damn squishy. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get it. I get that you have your tanky classes, and I get you have your squishy classes. But it seems like Necro is on a whole nother level of like, if anything looks at you, you're procced.
Right.
And if you get looked at again, you're dead. And it doesn't really matter. It's not like there's some big brain, super twitch reflex skills where you can never get hit. Like, you're gonna get hit in Diablo. Right. It's just the way it works. Like, some shit's unavoidable.
And some like lag will kill. Like, I would consider, I'm a good Necro player, and like I use iframes on Blood Rush to like dodge shit, but like I still get hit from like latency. Like, you just can't avoid it, and you just get breathed on, and you fucking die.
Yep. So it's I think it's something that should, like, getting killed by one shots it doesn't feel good. It never feels good. So I think that's something that overall there's a lot of classes that have some super squishy builds, and I think that they should address that a little bit, especially with Necro. Like, it doesn't make sense to me that inherently like barbs and monks and crusaders get 35% damage reduction just for no reason. Like, here guys, you get this just because. What? Why?
Right.
Like, it doesn't make sense. Everybody should get it across the board.
And you have to consider like how many like players are like, oh, maybe I'll come back to Diablo and I'll try out this Necro, and then like they fucking get wrecked because like.
Yeah, I have people so like I have a T16 mage build that I love to play. It's like one of my favorite T16 builds, and a lot of people when I'm running it, they're like, "Oh, that build looks really cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, here you go, you can check it out." And they'll come back like, "Dude, I die so much when I try to play this build. How are you staying alive?" And it's just like, well, you got to start it like this and get your toughness up, and then like you just basically look where you're standing and what's around you. Like, you don't look at the enemies because you're like, you don't look to damage, you look to stay alive. Right. You know. So, but your mages will kill everything on the screen.
That's a good point. Like, Necro is actively like, all you care about is avoiding shit. Like, you don't even like, and the damage just happens, right? Like, with mages, the damage just happens. With corpse lance, the damage just happens. You just stay alive while all the damage is happening. It's a really weird play style.
Yeah, it's like kind of backwards to what you would think. So, and that's okay. It's cool to have variation, but I think we've embraced the squishiness one shot a little too long and a little too much. Right. So I would be all in favor of eventually, if it's not this patch, eventually in a future patch, to be like, okay, we're going to maybe tone down the damage of some things, but make people a little more tanky to help balance it out. So
yeah. And that's why it's so wild playing the Poison Scythe, because we go from being the squishiest class in the game, period, to literally the tankiest build ever made. Like, we can stand in like 130s and giant packs of stuff, like totally just fine, chilling. And it's why like the build itself, like maybe it's not the most exciting thing to play, and people will stop by and be like, well, this seems like you're just kind of like left clicking, and there's some big brain stuff behind it. But part of what makes it so enjoying is because we've been so like garbage squish for such a long time that it's just so wild to like go into a rift and like not even have to worry about
describe, because people that haven't played this, tell me about this build. How do you play the build? What is it like? What is it using? What, can you briefly go over it, or is it too much?
Of course. So I was pushing rank 1 for like the first 2 days before people were like, oh, what's he doing? And it's amazing. So it's the LOD setup. It's using Ledger's Sustain, and again, there's that effect that we talked about with Haunted Visions, where your simulacrums, if you run Blood and Bone, where you get 2 of them, your simulacrums.
Read the description for that.
Ledgers?
Yeah. Read the description.
So Grimscythe deals up to 80% additional damage for each point of essence it restores. So if you're at 0 essence and you swipe, it's going to do a fuck ton of damage, and it scales really well with area damage. So you just gather a whole bunch of shit up and then just like scythe it down to death. And the Blood and Bone lets you to basically cast 2 clones. And they get that full swipe no matter what your essence is at. So they hit like a truck, like all the time.
Trucks. Right. Yeah.
especially on a COE poison
And then
rotation.
you got your dump with the mages.
You got your dump with the mages now, and that procs in there's Black Death stack, which we run 5 poison skills here.
Yep.
We run command skeletons and command golem. The command golem because we have the golem skin and the command skeletons because these are 2 skills again off the GCD. I see a lot of people running theirs Black Death, and they'll run like bone spikes and they'll run bone spear, and they have to like stop doing what they're doing just to cast those to get those stacks, which is terrible. So like I always encourage people to run these 2 because like you just numlock them and you always have those 2 stacks and there's Black Death. Like you don't have to worry about a thing. So like
you get those mages, that's stack 3, Grim Scythe is stack 4, and stack 5 is bone armor, I guess. What's the 5th one? I can't see. Bone armor?
Yep. And that bone armor you save for that poison rotation, so then make sure you proc your Crisbins on the COE, and then it's like boom, shredded. Boom. It's really it's so tanky.
That'd be interesting. It looks like it's and tanky builds are genuinely liked by newer players too, because it's like, oh, I'm not getting killed, because when you die and you're like, I don't know what's happening, you can't really fix it. At least if you can tank and you're like, I'm not dying, but I'm not killing shit, what am I doing wrong? Then you have time to analyze, like, oh, I don't have all my nears, I don't have my poison stacks, I got too much essence. You could figure it out.
But look at count these, right? So we got Unity.
Okay.
Golem Skin Breaches.
More tank. What's the percent on that? I can't read that.
It's 30% reduction.
Okay. All right.
So Unity's split between your 50, dude.
Like split,
Yeah. You get 30% reduction in Golem Skin. You got Bone Armor, which gives you, I don't even know, like 50% dislocation. You get Standalone, which gives you more armor.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't even know how to calculate that mitigation wise. We're wearing Stone Gauntlets with Ice Climbers, so we get that full Stone Gauntlet effect where we just our armor goes to the roof. Plus, Standalone, those 2 go together.
Like just crazy armor. What are you mitigating the Stone Gauntlets with? The gem?
No, Ice Climbers.
The Ice Climbers, okay. All right.
We got Razzus, so that's another 50% damage reduction potential. Jesus, we've got Leorix with a life gem in it, so our life is over 1 million. We got Dainty's Binding, which gives us another 50% damage reduction. It is just,
and then you got your Parthian ancient Parthians
for our if we get low on health, if we spike, we can just stun and literally like take 0 damage,
like no damage.
So
it looks cool, man. It looks interesting, and this is why Legacy of Dreams gem is so cool, because you can do this, and I think this is people's argument for why sets suck, right? But
plus LOD gem, right? That gives mitigation. Sorry,
and it's interesting. I think Necro is one of those classes that the sets suck, but they have so many good pieces.
Right.
They have so many good legendaries.
Yeah. Our jewelry and it's just our jewelry and weapons are just nutty.
Sick. They're so nutty.
But you notice here, like I'm pushing like like low end 130s. I don't even run a cheat death.
Yeah.
You just don't need it. It's so tanky. It's ridiculous.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So I would love to see sets. Competitive for Necro.
Yeah. And they started going on the route, right? So like that's why I wanted to talk before we got to the new set, because the 4-piece is insane. We get a mitigation buff, and then you get like a Unity that's even more value than running a Unity, all in one piece, all in one bonus. So like, why would they not give this same treatment to the other sets?
Well, let's talk about the new set. Did you feel very tanky when you played the new set?
Very.
Okay.
You could run Razzus in the cube, and the 4-piece bonus would hard carry all the way up to like 120. But it's not supposed to be like, to me, like Bone Spear would not be a set where you're gonna face tank everything. Like you're gonna be like, fuck you, like throwing your spears at range,
Yeah.
So
I played this set. I want to hear your thoughts on it. I played the set. I put it together. I used Razzus and I used all that stuff, and I thought I was Resident Sleeper. I didn't think it was that fun. Like you're literally just casting Bone Spear, hoping your simulacrums are casting it at the thing you want them to cast it at, and avoiding damage a little bit, but mainly just standing still, pew 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 pew. You know what I mean? That's at least the way that I had it put together. I tried different variations of different runes on Bone Spear. obviously Bloodtooth was the spread out multi-shot looking one. That was the most fun to me, but it wasn't the most powerful.
Right.
But I played it, and I ran some rifts with it, and I was like, yeah, this isn't something that I could really see myself enjoying for a very long period of time. Like I'm gonna get tired of this really quick.
Yeah.
So, tell me about it. What were your thoughts?
Sure.
What were the positive? You think there's some good
Yeah,
things?
I think there's some good things. I think that the idea of like having permanent simulacrums and they're always casting the spear when you do. I mean, I think that that's cool. It is cool to see like multiple spears flying off at one given time. It is very like, single targety, and the higher risk you'll go up, you'll just like the way that's playing right now is like you just get a big clump of trash together and you're really tanky. And that weird interaction I was talking about with Scythe, like the fact that you get like all your essence back almost with one swipe makes like the Scythe kind of like mandatory for this setup. And that feels very weird because ideally you'd be running like Zeiss and you would be standing like way back, but then like, oh no, I'm out of essence. Right. Let me go in and like Scythe.
I started doing. I started with Zeiss.
So weird.
I'm like, this doesn't feel good. Yeah.
It's not a good synergy. And I think that the simulacrum is doing more damage than you. And like, okay, like you've got an idea there. I just think that the set like lacks direction. It lacks a goal.
But simulacrums aren't pets. They're not classified as
right?
Pets.
Which is good because I don't want to be forced into like using the pet gems and pet items
and all that kind of stuff too. Yeah. So, yeah, it's okay, but this isn't a set like Necro is such a cool class, and I just feel like this isn't a cool set. Yeah. It's not. It doesn't have that it factor. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like it's bad, and I'm not shitting on it. Like it's cool they got it, but it's just not like, ooh, that looks awesome. I want to play that. That looks so badass. So
yeah, and its current form is just you spawn your clones and then you spam spear, and like that is it. Like it just doesn't have a goal. Like maybe like you get a stack of something per spear you throw out, and then you can unleash something, or like maybe you get multiple runes. Like some of the runes are really cool on the spear, so maybe like look into getting multiple runes. Or what I've been saying, I think that would be pretty cool, and I think thematically it would fit the Necro very well, is if we were to, every single time you kill something with the spear, it triggers a bone spirit.
That would do what?
It would track the nearest target. So bone spirit, if you have played it, it's like the slowest skill in the game.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever used it.
If you cast it, like you literally have time to like pour it in, like stun the mob, grab a cup of coffee. Like it's like so slow.
It just walks towards him, it touches him, it blows up or something.
And so like, right. And so, but you'd want to like do Zeiss, and there's actually an item in the game that increases the damage of Bone Spirit based on how far it travels. So it's kind of like a built-in Zeiss. So plus you could run Zeiss with it, but you would never like cast it at range because it would just like take 30 minutes to get to the target. So I think that this would kind of solve a problem twofold. Is like, so you throw the spears and you get a kill, and then like a bone spirit pops out of the corpse that tracks like the nearest target. And it doesn't have to travel that far. It's like they're already there. And plus, people are obviously very thirsty for a new skill, and that would kind of solve like two birds. That's just like one of the deals that I was tossing around.
Yeah, but you're still sitting there casting Bone Spirit to get those spirits to pop up.
Yeah, but like you either need something really cool to happen or be working towards a goal. That's what like every set should have that.
Yeah,
and that's what it's missing right now.
Yeah, it's definitely missing something.
Right,
but this is first iteration. I'm excited to see what they can come up with. For the second, I keep telling people that. Everybody I talked to was like, oh, the sets are underwhelming and this and that. And I'm like, we're looking at mechanics in the phase 1 PTR. Like, we don't care about how much damage they're doing. That's easy to fix, Yeah. But
when people are always like, oh my God, Demon Hunter's dead. Like, bro, do you remember Patterns of Justice when it first hit PTR?
That's exactly what I was going to go to. You started laughing and I read chat to make sure, like, what's so funny? Did I miss something? And it's like, yeah, the monk set was so bad, dudes. It was, and I'm like, they came out with a pretty nice set. The monk set's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
If they could fix the random stack dropping when you churn sharply bug, which I think is like impossible to fix or something. But that's the only beef I even have. That set is actually pretty damn cool. So I'm like, this is first wave, like
Yeah.
let's see what they throw at us. I'm excited to see what they throw at us. So the turnaround is like, okay, we got a 2-week PTR, so I would expect this week to get some changes, but it's not a lot of time to work up changes. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it's how much downtime was there from that monk set to the second one? Did we have a second PTR a couple weeks later? I think.
I want to say there was pretty quick turnaround on
or did
that.
they just release it and we never even got
we got a second iteration on PTR.
Yeah. So I wonder if they already have changes in the works and they're like, well, let's give them this and see what they think. But we already kind of juiced it up to this.
Right.
Like, or they're just busting ass right now, to get to get some of these changes. Because it seems like if they gathered feedback this all weekend and then they started, today's Monday. It's like, okay, let's get or Tuesday, let's put some work in. So maybe by Thursday they can, but that seemed like 4 days to tweak both sets. Man, that's not much time.
Yeah.
So I hope that they give something good. I was pretty disappointed with Necro. I played it for like maybe an hour, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like that's all I need.
Did you not test all this other stuff though? This is like there's infinite content here.
That's your job. You're the Necro guy.
so good.
I did test the corpse explosion because I think corpse explosion is a cool skill. Yeah. It just looks cool, and I think it'd be fun. But I went back to Demon Hunter, and I'm like, let's play with this set. And I play with the set until I think I got everything out of it. And I'm like, now it's literally just I gotta wait for them to give me mechanical changes. Like, what are they gonna change in the set to make it better, and what would I change to make it better? And so I hope that the communities echoed my opinions, or I'm actually curious what other people thought. I did read some stuff. It seems overwhelming that the momentum stacks were too short. They had to fix that. And it's either make them last longer or make each cast refresh all the stacks.
Right.
So, but did they want to make a straight up whirlwind set? If they let the 4-piece proc the 2-piece, then we just straight up got whirlwind. We got like a crazy fucking bolo whirlwind. For T16s, that would be like the coolest set ever in life. It'd be Snorefest, but it would be so whirlwind. Like every barb out there would make a Demon Hunter,
Every barb would probably rage. Like, you gave them the fucking whirlwind.
They got a range whirlwind. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, what is freak out.
Shit? All right, man. I'm good with the PTR. Did you have more stuff you wanted to hit on that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right,
we're just getting warmed up, P.
Get into it.
So outside of this, the Shield of Fury, the Crusader is fine. It's fine. It's still gonna be
it's always been fine, dude.
Yeah. Everyone's freaking out, like, oh my god, Shield of Fury. Same thing with the Witch Doctor. It's totally fine. Yes, they nerfed the Moon Danugu with the pet thing, but
like, I actually haven't seen that. Have you checked into that? What is
so
it?
Fine.
Is it still good?
It's still like I think the top on like the season. Well, let's look at season. Let's look at the leaderboards real quick. So Necro's a 126.
I want to see format.
Well, hang on, we'll get the form. Okay, so let's look at solo first. Just to give us an idea of like who's powerful, right?
I got you. I'm with you.
Corpse Explosion's rank 1 right now. 126 with 1400 Paragon. Barb's at a 125 with 1500 Paragon Whirlwind. Crusader is at a 125, 1600 in the new the set that does the things. 120 for DH Sad Face with
Impale.
Shadow Impale, with all guilds. Monk is also 120. The Monk's like got literally nothing, so I doubt anyone's going crazy. And this is only 1K.
There's some Muko Wave of Light, maybe.
Yeah, it is. Witch Doctor 123, 1600 Paragon, and then Wizard is at 119 at 1200 LOD Hydra.
Poor fucking Wizard, man. Like they got shit on with their new set, and then they didn't even get buffed like the next season.
Right.
Like I don't, I'm sorry, Wizard fans.
But yeah, like so, Witch Doctor will still be a pretty solid option for trash clear in a group. Still be very good for solos, obviously. Crusader will probably still be the go-to for RGK unless one of these new sets gets buffed to be just insane. Or if like Pestilence gets buffed, it could be a Corpse Lance. The one thing that we're seeing from metas is, like, again, the Corpse Explosion Necro can be trash clear and RGK. But people are still running the RGK 140. Man, are you kidding me right now? People are a 150 with like 1800 Paragon. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. So this setup's the Corpse Explosion
And that
Necro
goes back to my seasonal thing. It's like, listen, Blizz, people are gonna run the 150.
But no, I'm sorry. This is Poison Scythe. That's a trash clear.
Yeah.
So that's what I was about to say. So Corpse Explosion is a really solid choice, but so is fucking Poison Scythe. Poison Scythe is
stand in the middle of the trash and just hack it to.
Yeah, and I honestly think that you would get to the point where you could drop the monk because the Poison Scythe is so fucking tanky that you wouldn't need the help from the monk. So I think you can maybe run like a support DH and get.
That's what I'm saying, and get that extra damage, that 150 plus the. I mean, the DH provides toughness too. His sentries can do 25% damage reduction. He's going to get 150% from the entangling shot. He can get. There's another damage reduction skill that he can shoot people with. I don't remember. I don't remember all the stuff, but they actually have some options. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting. Poison Scythe. Is it going to be sleeper though? Like you're just sitting there hacking. Like, is that really what you're like? You're going to group and get all this trash on you?
Yeah, the way it plays in groups is a little different because like you can't really swipe until you hit that poison rotation. And solo, you're just kind of like swiping away, like killing this stuff as fast as you can. But in groups, like
in groups, you definitely wanted that AOE, right?
Right.
So you're gonna only swipe and poison.
I'm actually surprised it doesn't lag because it's an area damage stacking build. So I'm surprised it doesn't lag out groups, but apparently it's quite smooth. Which is
maybe because it's not quadrillions of one instant damage number, like in one big bomb.
Maybe,
I don't know. So, but it's super weird because when you add the Crusaders. Fissures that they throw in the groups, like that will break the server instantly. Like if a Crusader throws a couple fissures down in the middle of your trash, just fucking leave the rift. You know? So,
but this kind of makes me worry for the Poison Scythe. Is that like maybe it is like overtuned performance? So maybe we could see a nerf to Poison Scythe before live, which would really suck for us that want to clear solo on the boards.
Yeah,
but. You know, you gotta do.
Are rats broken?
So rats have been run. You know, you and I both played rats in season 19.
I mean, I've done so much rats; it's ridiculous.
Right. So it plays like it did in 19, but a little bit worse because like you don't get the constant globes from Reaper's Wraps. So there is that like the time that you are down on Land of the Dead, there's that like struggle like there was before. So I mean I think that. They're fine. They're probably still going to be the strongest, unfortunately, unless, again, one of these new sets gets buffed up to be pretty good.
What happened with the Whirlwind meta we had? Was that a seasonal theme thing that led us? I think it was. Wasn't it Season of Rourg where there was the Whirlwind meta for speeds?
Was it Rourg? I think it was Killstreaks. Wasn't it? No.
Maybe I thought it was Rourg. Maybe it was Rourg that made that possible. Because I'm like, why is that not a thing still? Like, what changed to make that not a thing?
Right.
And I think it must have been the Rourg.
Must have been.
Because it was cool to have that, man. It would be nice. It would be nice to have variety besides rats. Like I don't want to do rats again, man. I've done so much rats.
Yeah,
and I don't hate rats. I like rats is actually a cool build. It's a fun thing, especially if you've never done it. But after 10 seasons of it, I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this. So anything else.
Yeah, and I think that honestly, like Blizzard is actively looking for ways of like nerfing rat runs. Honestly, I think that
that's 100% why they changed Reaper Wraps.
Yeah, and I think that they're struggling with ways that how can we nerf rat runs but not like murder them. I think that's the big like question
to bring them back in line. Yeah. But let's work on bringing maybe something else up just a little bit. Like what could you do? Like the Whirlwind metas were okay. I don't even know what other speeds. Like if this Demon Hunter set...
It's been a long time since we had anything before rats, you know?
Yeah, if this Demon Hunter set was... Like, I mean... You could... The problem with the Demon Hunter set is you can do some nice area damage with the strafing, but you can't keep your momentum stacks up. And so if your momentum stacks fall, then you can't strafe because you can't shoot anything from your strafe. We'll have to see what the next iteration of this becomes, but it would be nice to have meta that included like a DH doing some area damage or whirlwind or some kind of speed where you can just run around and poop on stuff. Even the Witch Doctor with the Mundanugos, I think, could do some okay stuff if he tweaked it, but rats are so damn good, man.
Yeah. So. Yep. So if you guys have like really good ideas, like comment them, because I know that like Blizzard's been looking for ways.
Like what? Yeah, like all of the guys that ran the Whirlwind meta. Like I played Whirlwind metas, but dude, I don't remember it that much anymore. It's been so long that I just that stuff's like the season's over. It's gone. What could we do to fix and make the Whirlwind meta viable again? If it's as easy as tweaking a couple things.
Well, even like again, I hope what you're saying is like, so maybe overtune the new DH set. I mean, I think Necro's been in the light for long enough. Like, I'm okay with it not being a Necro set. But like, if you just maybe overtune the DH set for just like a season, just to maybe guarantee that rats aren't the best, and then like maybe think you have a whole nother season. Like, if you can't figure out how to nerf rats effectively before the seasonal thing, maybe overtune something else just to ensure rats aren't the best.
And so here's the thought process on that too. Like, if you overbuff something, people acknowledge it's overbuffed. Like, they'll be like, it's okay. When you nerf it the next, like, Crusader, Shield of Fury getting nerfed, like, honestly, like, come on, man. Everybody knows it needed it. Like, nobody argues that it's balanced. Like, nobody argues it.
Right.
But it was fun as hell. You know what kept me playing the season as long as I did was Mundanugos metas, because it was new. Like, I played Death Nova because it was new, but I'm like, I'm not really feeling this as much. But then when I played Mundanugos, I was like, oh, shit, this is badass. Like, it kept me playing for a couple weeks, This season, if the new DH set is underwhelming and Necro doesn't have something super engaging and fun, 3 weeks in the season, I'm gonna be like, well, cool, season 21 down, peace out. And that's not what I want. So it's okay, I think, to make the new sets because A, they're new, so we've never played them, and B, like, they're new, so juice them up. Like, let's make sure everybody checks them out and plays them.
Yeah.
And then next season we can rebalance them. We can drop them back. We can pull it back. But like you're saying, man, let's get the DH with this new set into a meta speed farm. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
So, or something.
Something new. I mean,
something new. Yeah. So,
someone brought up a really good point too. Like, so these new sets, they feel underwhelming right now. Like, and again, historically, that's always been true. Like, there's never been a new set that came out and just blew us away. Like, and I think that's a smart play, is to come in low rather than like coming in too high and you scale it back before the season starts, because then people cry nerf and they're like, oh, classic Blizzard, like.
Yeah, I think the first wave of should be nerf. It should be good.
Yeah,
it should be like, let's buff it. But I will say that I think they hit a fucking grand slam with the Witch Doctor set. Like, I hate Witch Doctor. I don't like any of the sets in that class.
Agreed.
And I love Mundanugos. It's a fun set. It's a fun set to play, at least in group settings and speed settings. The pushing variant, I don't know if I liked it as much, but that's fine. Some people did. I'm happy for them. But with 4-man metas, dude, it was a blast. I loved it. And they killed it with that. The Crusader set, as much as its holy shotgun, it's like, it was still good. Like, we've played it before, but it was still really good, and it's still a really good set. But man, I feel like they missed Hydra pretty bad, and I feel like the Barb set's good, but it's underpowered, so nobody's gonna play it. They need it. This is like why Hydra and the Barb set needed to be juiced up more.
Yeah,
and they still didn't even do it again this season. So I kind of feel like that was a wasted set or a wasted opportunity that they can revisit next season, I guess.
Right. Or they can, take another few weeks.
Take a couple weeks, man.
And fix Hydra and fix the Frenzy. Like, why not, Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see like multiple iterations of a PTR where they like really dig into number tweaking and like just extend it out. But
I think this is the perfect opportunity to take an extra PTR and be like, okay, we don't want to line up with POE. We got an extra couple weeks. Let's do a PTR.
Yeah.
Like, let's sit on these. Like, we're probably going to get changes this week. I hope. I don't know that, but I would assume. So let's say we get some changes this week. We sit on it, give them a week of coding, come back the following week. Boom. Here's another week PTR. Check this out. Get some feedback. And then now you've got all this knowledge to like make these perfect sets. Then you can sit on that for a week and then you're good, right?
Totally. Just an intern could do it.
Oh man, did you apply for that intern position?
No? I'm not getting anybody coffee. You kidding me?
Shit.
I'm gonna go in there. It's boss day one.
The boss?
Who thought of juggernauts? You're fired.
Or no shit, right? The first day you walk in, who created juggernauts and
You're
where
done.
does he work? Where does his desk?
Yeah. Get him out of here. Yep.
Stan, you've been summoned to conference room A? Just no.
Yep.
I don't know, man. Do we have any other PTR stuff you wanted to hit? You want to talk about? That's the whole notes, right? Final service is bugged and still consuming the simulacrums or something, maybe?
No, it's just
What's going on?
they're not staggering like this. Like, so if you trigger final service, it still consumes your simulacrums, because like the other cheat deaths will go off at the same time that you get from simulacrums.
Oh yeah, so
they're not like listening to one another. So like you should probably listen to final service first.
Right.
Yeah.
What else do we got?
SOJ, it did work like everybody assumed that it would. It's just your highest.
It's just who's going to use
the
it.
board.
Yeah, I was trying to think of any set that like I don't understand the only thing I can even think of is Talrasha Meteor Wizard. That's it.
You could run some T16 with Necro stuff, but like you would never bring it to Greater Rift.
Like, you don't need it though. So I don't understand the change. Like it's a cool change. I just don't understand if there was something it was put in for, and I'm like, am I missing it? Like what's going on?
Yeah. And again, like to go back to what we touched on last week, it's just I wish they would find ways of fixing things without gimping cross-class items and like the channeling things taking time.
Mantle channeling needs to get fixed, man. Like I don't give a shit if you just remove Star Pack from the game, but like, and I don't even use Mantle channeling or Death Wish or Etch Sigil or any of those things, but like, it just feels so dirty.
Right. So, I can promise you, though, one day they'll rework Trag'Oul to be like the Nova set, and it's gonna use Mantle of Channeling, and that delay is going to trigger me. Like it's not triggering me now because I don't use Mantle of Channeling in any build whatsoever. But I can promise you, once that item is relevant for Necro, it's gonna trigger. Like it, and that sucks. It feels bad.
Yeah, to me, it's just like, why don't you just remove Star Pack from the game? Just totally redesign the rune, or remove the rune, or break the rune.
Give us a poison meteor.
It does no damage. So
I don't know, man.
I will say that, man, the changes they made to PTR, to the boxes, so the big dank memes guy that sells you all the things, like having those include all of the bounty mats and all the things so you can actually re-roll your items pretty much endlessly or get items is huge. It makes testing so much easier. I'm like, oh, I don't have this. Let me go make one real quick. Or let me go get one real quick. Yeah. And it was pretty damn awesome. So this, like, I don't know how this wasn't a thing like 15 PTRs ago, but props for doing that, because that's awesome.
Yeah. The only thing I will say, it is incredibly hard to get gems on PTR to reroll jewelry. Gems? Yeah. No, just gems. Yeah.
Oh, just regular gems?
Yeah. Just to reroll necklace jewelry.
I guess if
you're the seasonal, right?
Yeah, if you're playing season, yeah. Brutal. Yeah, so maybe throw gems in there too. I don't know.
And I will say too that
throw 100 stack of gems.
Yeah,
you know,
easily Imperials.
Just have it throw some. Yeah.
This PTR was incredibly laggy for the first 3 days. I don't know what was different about this one.
It was unplayable one day. I kind of quit. I stopped playing it because I'm like, I can't test anything in this shit. Like I'm just dead. I'm dead, and I don't know if it's because my build sucks or because the server lag. Like I'm not really sure.
Right. So, I would pop Landed Dead to throw corpse lances, and I'd get like one lance off per frame because it was lagging so bad, and then I'd just be like, I didn't do any damage during my Landed Dead rotation. I'd just be like,
you think it's skills? You think it's hardware? You think they like have the crappiest fucking old server?
I assume it had something to do with like why they delayed. Like maybe because something broke. And then they had to like do a backup or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it was super laggy though.
It was so
I'll give you
laggy.
that.
But overall, like, man, like every necro change besides the new set, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Like, it opens up so many new builds. It's more work for me because I'm basically have to redo every guide I've ever made. Like, period. But it's still like it's a ton of fun. So
Cool.
hopefully.
Coolness. Yeah, man. I'm excited for the new DH set. I'm not a huge DH fanboy, but Strafe is one of my favorite skills. So I'm really, I think this has been the set that I've cared most about of all the sets, which is funny because this is probably one of the sets I care least about until they announced like it was Strafe. And then I'm like, oh,
Really?
oh shit. Like
Yeah.
I'm into this, man. This is like one of my favorite things. This makes me wish that they would fix Natalia.
I
really
know.
bad, too.
If they fix
Like,
Natalia, I would totally play a DH first.
Yeah, this like I'm like, dude, if they nail this set and then they also fix Natalia's, damn, DH might be my main class. Like I would play the shit out of some DH, especially if we can get ZDH rolling in metas too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would rock the shit out of some DH.
Don't do Natalia this season. Wait until next.
Yeah, well, they don't have time. Like let's nail this new set first.
Right.
Yeah, let's get it down. And then you know, that's why I'm kind of on the fence. Like, do I want Strafe to be Whirlwind?
No.
Because if they made it Whirlwind and then they fix Natalia's too, then you have your non-Whirlwind Strafe set. And then you have your Whirlwind DH.
Why do you want a Whirlwind? You're saying it. You're saying it out loud. I want Whirlwind on a DH. Why not just go play Whirlwind?
Because it's better.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's like Whirlwind on juice.
This isn't POE where you can like, oh, I'm going to pick an assassin and we can all run the same skill because it's not like dictated to our class. This is Diablo where like you're going to have no diversity if every class has the same skills.
It's like Cyclone. You remember when Cyclone and POE took up the whole fucking screen?
Yeah.
That's what Strafe is. And it's badass, dude. That's what it is. It's like Cyclone from POE. It's just different. It's better. It looks better. It's more range. It's bigger. You're a DH. You're cooler. You're using fucking crossbows and looking. I don't know, man. It's cool. I'm on the fence. Like if they made it Strafe, I would not be upset at all. If they don't and they keep the play style that's at now, I would like that. But secretly, deep down inside, I'm like, damn, but I really want Strafe Whirlwind.
I think you had a better point when you're like, okay, you know, let's make this big brain and encourage multiple generator usage.
I think like that's that, but I also want to do T16.
No, stop. Stop it.
Blowing them up. I want to do speed metas, just strafing at max speed, just smoking shit.
No, absolutely not.
But I think that should be the poll. The poll should Strafe be Whirlwind 2.0. You know, let's see what the community agrees.
No, they're two heads. No.
Wow, go support the Patreon guys. We won't call you two heads.
Those guys are five head.
Yeah, those guys are five head. So speaking of Cyclone and POE,
yes.
All right, I haven't seen the announcement. I was so flipping busy today. Did they announce it today?
Yeah, literally today. Yeah, at like 4 o'clock.
I haven't even been home all day. Until 20 minutes before the podcast, I showed up and I'm like, okay, let me try to get ready.
So yeah, POE. No, there's no sound.
Okay,
I'm not playing because they would just override us. We're not gonna play the trailer for like 5 minutes.
I'm like,
while we sit here and watch. No. So yeah, they announced.
Just made a garden. Looks cool.
POE Harvest, which is Farmville. Basically, you spawn these, or you get these seeds as you kill mobs.
Is this in your base? Is this
no? So it's in the world. You know, like every league they do in POE, like it'll spawn like every map, and then that league rolls over, and you see it sometimes in a map. Whereas this current league is always like every map.
So you're gonna stop what you're doing.
Yes.
You're gonna stop killing.
And you're gonna go into this portal and you're gonna plant some seeds. Yeah.
Okay. We've planted some pumpkins.
Which I'm down. Like I know that, like Delirium and Legion were very, very popular leagues, but to me they're so sleeper because it's just kill more things. Oh, touch this thing, kill more things. It's there's nothing to mix it up whatsoever.
This is a change of pace.
Yes,
I'm with you. Okay.
So yeah, you get these seeds as you kill things in the map, and then you find the guy on the map, and he opens a portal to like the garden or whatever.
Okay.
and then you plant the seeds, and then like
Oh, look at the lights. So pretty.
and you plant seeds, and then like per time you run a map, like they grow, and I guess like
Okay.
however good the seed is how many times it takes for like the plants to fully grow, and then you lay down like the harvester thing, and it will like suck the mob's juice as you kill them.
Sucks the
It makes them spawn.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Sucks
Wants
them.
to
It
POE.
makes them spawn like this. Okay.
Okay.
He put the juicer down.
Oh wait, so the mobs came from the plant.
Yeah. And they don't come out
Okay.
just that random. You have to put the juicer down. And
Okay, so you got to suck the
sucks the
plant.
juice when you kill them.
Okay.
And then when that happens, it lets you like interact with the juicer. And the juicer gives you like insane crafting mods.
Okay, so you're out there, you're in the wild. This thing is gonna pop and port you to the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
You go in there, you plant your stuff.
Yep.
Then you leave.
Yep.
And you go out. And
Well,
you're killing,
the very
killing,
first
killing.
time you would leave, but like every time
So
you'd have like other crops. Yeah.
You're going in, and then the next time you see the portal, boom, you go back in, and the shit you planted the first time is still in the same spot, and you're like, okay, it's now ready to harvest, and we can get it, or you can just sit on it and let it
keep
grow
growing.
more.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think up to a certain, depending on the seed.
What's the limit? There's got to be some kind of limit to like, okay, I've gone in like 7 times and I haven't harvested. It's time now. I got to juice. I gotta harvest.
I'm sure there's a cap, but
yeah.
So there's some special.
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah. So there's some special things. So like one, the seed quality, it depends on like how many rounds it can last. Basically, there's also things you can do to like juice up the seeds. Like you can put down like a battery thing that like charges them up based on like. So like when I spend something on this craft, you can see this number on the right here. It's going to consume that much of the life force to do these crafts. And then if you're like, you know what, I don't want any of these other ones, like all that life force gets saved, and you can convert it to like a battery, which will like juice up future crops, basically.
Okay.
Or irrigate, make them moist.
I gotta say, as a non POE player for real, I this looks okay to me. Like this is something I'm like, okay, I could see this being all right. And the creativity, like their leagues are pretty different. Like, a lot of them are kill things. Like this new one was like, oh, we're gonna spawn shit and kill more things. But like if you do a straight 1-to-1 comparison to like Diablo seasons, it's like we're getting season of like rainbow dick. You know what I mean? And like I'm not saying that in a bad way, but it's like we're shooting a rainbow out of our belt, and it's like this is like a whole new world where you're planting stuff. Like we talked about it, man. Like the PoE patch notes are crazy.
Yeah, the things that GGG are doing, I would argue, are like maybe the best in the gaming market. Like I don't think that any game gets as much content. I would even say, like I used to argue, like, oh, it gets as much as content as Fortnite. I would say that PoE gets more content than any game on the internet. I mean, I'm not privy to absolutely every game, but
I can't really argue that point, to be honest. Like, I mean, it seems like every patch note is like full of crazy shit. Like every time we see patch notes, I'm like, Kotaku someday is going to release an article how these guys were like chained to their office or something, you know. But and this is even with them working at home with Corona shit. So.
Right. But yeah, so you get these actually insane. Like I know you don't play a ton, but like the mods that are listed here are whack. And
how is this gonna feel for somebody like, okay, so let's say I jump in and play PoE this league, because there's a possibility, like I'm probably likely gonna do that at some point.
Finally.
So let's say I jump in and I play. Like is a new player like me gonna be able to use these crafting materials I get?
That's a great question.
Is it gonna make sense? Is it gonna be accessible to new players?
So Ziggy D always gets to do like a post-announcement interview with Chris Wilson. And Chris Wilson said like they actively went out of their way, like almost like Diablo style, right? Where like easy to learn, difficult to master. And he's like basically like anyone is gonna be able to like just do this. Like it's at its core, it's just like plant the seeds and it'll grow and you harvest them. And like that's it. You don't have to do any of the other things to like really get the most out of it. But obviously, like, there is some small big brain stuff if you really want to like be crazy efficient or really, really min-max. But like anyone can just jump in and like get rewards.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something that PoE should cycle between. I don't think every league should be super simplistic, But I think there are times where things are just like, what is going on? And so for somebody like me, if I jump in and play next league, I'm gonna get somebody's build. I'll probably talk to you. I'd be like, Fluff, what build should I play? Give me a good build, and then I'll follow that build guide and then jump in. But it's cool to understand the mechanics of what's going on. Like, wait, I'm supposed to do what now? Like in the what was the league where they had the like the little poison guy that had like a diving suit on, and you would put body parts and construct the
metamorph
thing. Yeah, metamorph. Like I put the shit in and created the metamorphs and killed them and looted it, but it was like, what was the purpose of it? I couldn't really tell you. It was like, I'm assuming he drops good loot if I make him stronger, and I would try to put the parts in that made him the strongest. But but in all reality, I'm just like, oh, this guy popped up. Do I have parts to make a thing? Yep. Cool. Let's kill it. Oh, didn't get shit. Yeah. Okay, keep going.
Metamorph was super dangerous in that regard because there was a ton of players just like, well, I got parts, let me throw it in. And they would just like fucking one-shot you because
you didn't know what
you're putting in. Yeah. I didn't love Metamorph either, but it was cool. Like I still loved these mechanics, especially when they roll over the core. Because now we have like imagine by the time POE 2 comes out, there's gonna be like 25 fucking league mechanics that are insane in depth that you can do in the game at any time. It's just so fucking crazy to me.
They're pulling the World of Warcraft of ARPGs. Like they're just building on shit. And like that's why everybody's like, oh, this is gonna be a WoW killer. No, it's not. WoW's got so much fucking content and so much polish on, like they've done things and then been able to polish it for 15 years. Like no new ARPG is gonna have a fraction of the content. Yeah. So like, no, you're not gonna kill it. And PoE setting itself up to do that.
Right.
So did they announce changes? I know that do you have a madness with this? We watching more Plant Harvest still?
Yeah. So the more Plant Harvest stuff, but to go with this, obviously the new league mechanic, and I think that I can't emphasize enough. Like, I think the crafting will be actually insane. Even Chris Wilson said like, we don't even know that we're gonna roll over like seasonal items basically to the non-season because like they might be too good.
It's gonna be broken.
Yeah. So that was interesting to hear him say.
Who plays non-season anyways?
I don't know. I mean, like PoE, I get it because it's again like the SVR quote. Like if you got 1,000 hours or minus, then PoE is not that good of a game. But 1,000 hours plus, PoE is like great game, and Diablo's like kind of mundane. And so to go with all this craziness, there's passive tree reworks, which we haven't seen in a long time in Path of Exile. So they're reworking big parts of the passive tree. They're making Rage really good, and Rage is a really cool mechanic. And something that was weird too, because I was complaining a lot about Rage last league and how it's like, it could be cool, but it's just not. So they're adding some more of those. They're revamping War Cries, and there's only like a handful of War Cries, and they're all like super mundane. So that was definitely something.
War Cries like shouts?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
However, shout. Okay.
Yep. They're reworking like two-hand builds are always kind of like meh. It was just always better on like a one-hander and a shield or dual wield. But now they're giving significant buffs to two-handers, and they're giving in like a support rune that basically like a spirit is like with you. He'll like mirror your slam like once every 3 seconds. And since you hit so slow, it's like every cast basically. That's cool. It's really, really strong. They're reworking brands. Like, Archmage brand was just insanely OP this league. And so they're just like redoing brands altogether. They unveiled a couple of them and it sound pretty cool. I hope there's a poison or chaos one personally, but
not biased.
Yeah. What else? They also talked about some things that aren't in this trailer in that Chris Wilson interview. He mentioned that they're like, how you and I have complained about, it's like there's just too much shit going on the screen. Like a lot of times you can't even see what's going on because like all these particle flecks are flying off, especially if you have microtransactions that make things like even more particle-y, right? So he said that they're implementing this particle effect reduction that like automatically happens. Like the game's going to detect it for you instead of like just turning it down and making the game look like crap.
It's going to be like dynamic. Yeah, that's cool.
That is really cool.
That is cool.
But the thing to note here about the one of the things to note about the seed place is, so like they never want you to like be able to access your stash in a map, and that's kind of a problem for this league because like you're going to craft on a lot of items, and there's probably going to be items that you don't like you're wearing you probably don't want to be crafting on actively at that time. Like maybe they're so good, or maybe you don't want to risk it. And so you're gonna need access to your stash. So they've like
And
figured out
hardcore too,
yeah, and they're figuring out a way to like basically bring in the stash. So like you can craft on the stuff that's in your stash, but it doesn't go to your inventory. So you still can't access your stash, but you can like pull stuff from your stash to craft on, which is big, because otherwise this would have played really
So
bad.
bad.
And all those like little consumables, they'll be in like a place you can deposit them. It's not like going to take up stash space or anything like that. So that's really good too, because it's so annoying to have like little clickies.
Oh, it's not going to be a tab you have to buy.
Right. It's free with the league. It goes to like the Delve. The Delve has like its own currency thing. It's gonna be the same.
Cool.
So, but big stuff. And then they have like the thing we didn't talk about last week is they just implemented the Vulkan renderer.
Yeah, I heard that fixes a lot of the issues, a lot of the lag issues.
So like I have, I've got a computer that I built like just a couple years ago. It optimized for games because a lot of games don't utilize more than 4 cores, and if they do, they don't do it very well. And so like I just built this like crazy 4-core good GPU game, and I lag like all the time in Delirium, and it sucks. And it should just never happen with a computer like I have. And so they've basically started using this Vulkan renderer that's like kind of in beta. And I was like, okay, let's see how cool this is. And so I just loaded up the game, I switched to the renderer, and I ran like a fully juiced up T16 Delirium map, which would always cause me to like stutter sometimes. Yeah. And it was silky smooth. It was really weird. So
all about that. And that I'm sure that's probably stuff that they're pushing forward to POE too.
Exactly.
Also. Yeah. When are they going to update this fucking interface, man? Can they just do it? Listen, GGG, I promise I will play an entire league if you just fix the interface and make it not ugly.
Yeah. It's not
what
great.
What are we going to do? We need some. They haven't released any POE 2 juice since the Exile con, have they? Have they really?
No. The Bex teased at one point that like GGG was encouraging her to like stream the game.
POE 2 or just POE 1?
POE 2. So like as a demo or something, and she's like, she didn't want. I don't know. She didn't want to do it, or maybe that plan fell through or something like that. But that was
were you like?
I posted the I volunteers tribute meme. Yeah, they didn't pick me, obviously. But yeah, we haven't really heard anything. Which I mean, it's probably fine,
that's good. It's just, it's like we're wanting this D4 news, and it's like the POE 2 announcement happened after D4, and it's like we haven't heard much, and it's same with D4. Like right now, we're kind of like waiting for news.
Yeah,
I think I'm hungry, man. I'm hungry for some.
Totally.
I'm in a spot right now where like I don't have what I feel is like a main game. Like really? Diablo is always my main game, but I'm burned out on it, and like. Even with the PTR and these new patch notes and things that we get, is it enough to last me till the next PTR, to the next PTR, the next patch? Probably not. And it's like, so I'm hungry for something to like really just be like, I want this game that consumes me all the time, and I just think about it, and when I'm not playing it,
fucking play POE. It's an ARPG podcast. You're killing me.
Oh man. Well, I mean, this looks good though. Like I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by this stuff, and I don't know how much of it is like I'm actually interested in the season, or if I'm just like, you know what, man, I want something to play. Let's do it. So I'm hyped for Shadowlands right now because of that reason. I'm just like, fuck, I just want something new.
Do you think that like what you're seeing in Shadowlands? Do you think?
I've avoided a lot because I'm kind of just like I've always done that with WoW. Like I don't know what, like most games, like Destiny for example, dude, I'm on every leak, every story, everything. Diablo, every leak, every story. But with WoW, I've always kind of been like I want to experience it when it drops, because WoW doesn't change dynamically a lot. Like when they announce the systems in Shadowlands, it's probably, when they're concrete, it's going to be that way for a long time. I do think that the tower thing has good promise if they can get it knocked out. I don't remember the name of it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that looked really cool. Story and lore wise, like I don't really care too much about the story. Like I wanted the zones to be cool and look cool, but I don't know, man. It'll be fun if especially if we can get people to come back and play at least at the start. The start of it's going to be the best time. The first 3 or 4 weeks will be phenomenal.
Yeah.
And if I can convince you into playing, and you go tank or I'll go tank. I'll probably let you tank. I'll go heals. listen, dude. This
Let me
Mythic
tank,
Plus,
bro.
we're gonna own it.
I mean, again, like I reflect on that time, right? Like it was fun for a
It was
week,
fun, dude.
but
Yeah,
like, just not
and
worth.
that's fine. And if that's what we get out of it, we like. Listen, I got one night out of Minecraft. Let's talk about Minecraft. We got. Was that was after last podcast, or I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
No, it wasn't. Maybe we did talk about it because I think Wajudo played it some too.
yeah.
Like I had fun that one night playing Minecraft. Like we played together. If we hadn't have played together, it probably would have been less fun.
Sleeper, yeah, totally.
But it's like I have no desire to play. I haven't played it again since that night. Like I don't have any desire to play it. Like I didn't go to bed thinking like, oh shit, man, I can't wait to play Minecraft tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like and that's cool, man. If you like it, I'm not shitting on your game. Like I'm glad you like it. I'm just saying I want a game that makes me, when I'm not playing it, like I'm laying in bed and I can't sleep, I pull my phone out and I start looking at fucking YouTube videos or Reddit or something about the game. Like I want more of it, you know? And I don't have that right now.
Yeah.
Like there's no game where I'm just like, dude, what if I did this? Or
I don't know, man.
Like, how do I do this better?
It's gotta like honestly, like I'll be playing SSF and POE and like I'll be like 3 weeks in the league having a good time, and then I get like some crazy drop, but it's terrible for my build. I'm like, like what can I make with that? Like what can I make with like just based on that item alone? And like then my brain goes crazy and I start like, you know, I'm on path to building all the time, and like when I go to bed, I'm like, oh, what could I fucking do with this thing? And it's just the same way. Like when we got these patch notes, immediately my brain was just like, oh my god, necro builds. Like, oh, what can we do? What can we do? And it's like I lose sleep because it's like all I want to do. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think D3 does it right now though. Like even if like I don't, you know, like even with the Demon Hunter shit, like sure, I spent like 8 hours. I spent 8 hours testing and trying to come up with different things. And then after the 8 hours, I'm like, okay, that's cool. I feel like I'm wasting my time if I keep doing this now because they're going to change so many things about it that like I'm good. I'm just going to go play other stuff and then we'll hit the PTR second round, you know, and see what we can do. But yeah, I'm super interested in this POE league looks good. So we might check it out. But it depends, dude. It depends on the fall. Like if it drops the 19th and Diablo drops the 19th, like for me, there's not a choice on what I'm gonna play. You know? So if it drops 2 weeks if it drops after POE, then shit, probably. Like I'll throw down. And then maybe if I get sucked in hard enough, I'll be like, you know, I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. So
but it looks good, man. Looks real good.
Interesting stuff. Do we have anything else on the schedule? Do some Twitter questions? If you guys want to submit questions to the podcast, you can tweet at Lord Fluffy, at ThaPChild. You can reply to the New Meta Twitter post that I try to throw up every week. I didn't this week. Or our Discords, honestly, are like the best place to throw it because I check those right before we go live. So you can get those last minute questions in on Discord. I've heard that the Discord link for my server is not working. You can always join Fluffs, and I'll try to get a link inserted in there, or we'll get those updated. But do it, guys. The first question we have comes from Frickin' Ray. He says, with next season having the new Necro set that Fluff is excited for, what would PoE have to do to make him play it over D3?
It'd have to be a lot. Like a lot of new ways to play Poison.
Okay. All right. Okay, I got you. I already know. I already have it. The news they juiced the D3 stuff exactly like you want, and you're so excited, right?
Yeah.
They both drop on the same day. Bex DMs you. And she's like, Fluff, I want you to stream PoE on that Friday, and we're going to host you on like, you know, the websites, and we're going to promote the fuck out of you for the next couple of days, saying like, yo, check out Fluff, he's going to be streaming. Are you going to say no? There's no fucking way you say no to that.
Why would I? It's a game that I love, and it's like an opportunity. Are you kidding?
There you go. I answered your question, freaking Ray.
But I mean, gameplay wise, you know, like I'm a big fan of the Poison build, so like, yeah, like I think that they need more ways to play Poison. There's really not a lot of great ways to play Poison as a spellcaster, and there's not a lot of great ways to play Poison as a melee character. There's some decent ways to play as a range, but they all kind of feel this. Like Cobra Lash and Venom Guard feel the same. So I just love poison and POE for some reason. So
if they juiced up poison, you might consider it.
maybe, but I mean, we'll just see like how good is the new set going to be, and Poison Scythe could get nerfed. I mean, it really could, because it might be too good for 4-mans, even though it's not that.
I mean,
amazing.
4-mans are going to clear 150 in the first week, anyways. Though, like I just don't see 2 weeks tops. So, I hope that either they do a complete rebalance on things, or and that's a huge overhaul. It's not going to happen this patch, or they just deal with it. They just accept. I shouldn't say deal with it. I should say accept the fact that people are going to do them. The leaderboard is now a time trial, and that's fine. It is what it is. Try to keep people from pushing solo 150s. I think that's a little OP-ness.
Right.
Demonic Grizz says, thoughts on the new corpse explosion builds that they've figured out?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel great to wait on big cooldowns, to literally wait on big cooldowns. Like, I know you have, at least it's like Cold Lancer, you would wait on your big cooldowns and you would just try to survive. Whereas with Corpse Explosion LOD, you're kind of like trying to generate density, get a big pack together, make sure everything's cursed. You're not going to get like one shot in any particular moment. Like, it's fine. So it plays better than Cold Lancer did. Not a ton of skill involved at the end of the day, so like that's kind of a little sleeper. But I mean, I love it. I mean, I love that we're gonna have all of a sudden, going from nothing really that's great since the Thorns got nerfed, and Thorns was a terrible playstyle, and LOD Mage is not that much better. To finally have a couple builds that are viable. Hopefully the new Necro set, like we get a set that's viable for pushing. It's been a really long time since we had a set that was viable for pushing. But
that actually felt good
to
push on. Like,
I mean, I loved Cold Lancer for what it was, but mostly because I just loved Necro, and that was like the best option for pushing. I do love Pestilence as a set, though.
Yeah, Cold Lancer season 11, season 12 was okay. It was new, and it was the first set that I felt so squishy on. Like Cold Lancer, when I played it, I guess it was season 11 or 12, you would literally just like corpse hop to elite pack to elite pack. Yep. And then you'd stay dead until your cooldowns are up. You'd rot.
I know about that.
Well, you would try. Like,
right.
I mean, you could try to stay alive, but when you're dead, you just, okay, I'm going to wait for cooldowns. I'm going to, come alive for what?
Yeah.
And then you would just shit on the elite, and hopefully you could find another one and get them rounded up. But, yeah, man, I think a lot of classes, the push builds aren't as fun to me as they used to be. Maybe it's just me and my mentality in general, but
I do appreciate like playing Poison Scythe. I do appreciate the builds that you can go in and you're at least killing trash and you're getting XP, and it's just not like, okay, this isn't the perfect setup. Like, I'm gonna always leave. So like the Poison Scythe is really good for that. Like, you can go in and you're actually getting XP, and like you could get gem levels, and like it feels so much better than when you go in with Cold Lancer and like you run into the first pack. Okay, you killed him, but then you're like just bunny hopping to the next pack. You're not killing anything else, and then like, okay, I got a Juggernaut. Well, I'm leaving this ripped. It's like that was such an awful. It was unique, and so that made it kind of exciting. But like looking back on it, it's like, oh my god, because I had to play Cold Lancer again with these buffs, and it's just like, holy shit, how did I play this so much? Because now it just feels so bad.
The next question we got, Onion says, will Fluff play group metas if Poison Scythe does become the trash clear?
I mean, I still don't really love. I mean, I would want to get my gems up to as high as I could, so I always try to like leech there from people that I know are running the metas. I'd obviously would know it pretty well, but I just don't get that much enjoyment out of pushing with format. I don't mind like XP grinding, as long as it's not like more rat runs. But there's just something about pushing format. It's just not very appealing to me. I don't know. I couldn't really describe it to you, because I like when we did dungeons in World
Yeah.
of Warcraft. Like I enjoyed that, but maybe that's because like there's a role for everybody to play. Whereas in like, okay, yeah, maybe you're the DPS or you're the trash clearer of a group, and that's a role, but it's not like
It's yeah. WoW's completely different because like you're playing tank, I was playing heals, and arguably the most important spots in the party, right? And so we're in there, and like a DPS pulls an extra pack, or you accidentally pull an extra pack, or whatever, and I'm like, oh shit, fluff, cooldowns, or like I'm popping cooldown saviors, or the communication and the things that happen is really cool and fun and interactions. But also, I think that I don't know, man. There's something about it it's fun for a little bit, but that also got old after a week or two.
True.
It didn't have its longevity. I think doing the metas, like the Witch Doctor 4-man metas I was doing, even though we weren't trying to push 4-man leaderboards, like it's impossible unless you're, keeping Paragon up with those guys and gems, and they're also very skilled players too. But like just doing them, like I did one like 142 before I quit, and it was at like I think it was like 1600 Paragon or something, which I feel like that's a pretty reasonable rift for 1700 Paragon. And it was fun to do that one. It took me like 3 tries to get the 142. I could do the 140s pretty easy, but that 2 GR levels made a huge difference. It was fun to shit on the 130s though, the 135s, like just to actually go in and just smoke them. It felt good. So metas are fun. They can have their place. You just have to know what you're into, what your play style is. Like, do you want to grind your face into it and fail sometimes, or you just casually just blowing shit up for fun?
Right. It's probably the nature of grouping in D4 as well, or Diablo 3 as well. It's like, you fish, and like fishing at one point was like okay, but we've been doing it for like 8 fucking years now, or I mean less than that because ROS, but still, like it's just so beaten to the 100%. Ground. And fishing just feels so bad. Yeah,
I'm tired of fishing rift levels. I'm tired of fishing mob types. I'm tired of fishing pylons. Like you could even get the right rift and the right mob type, but then you don't get the pylon.
Yeah, it'd be like if we could go into any rift and be like, all right, like let's use our skill, let's pull this out. We got this. Like, going into an undergeared, like when we were undergeared to do the stuff that we were doing, and we were still doing it because we were like really good. And that, like that, I love that. But like going into like a GR and be like, nope, we leave. Like because it's not fucking Pestilence.
Yeah, I think that's what made it fun on WoW, is because when you first hit the when you first do the expansion, everybody's undergeared. You have to level up.
Yeah,
and we're going in doing heroics when we really shouldn't have been. Like we shouldn't have been doing our mythics. I mean, we were doing mythic dungeons, and it's like they had just unlocked them, and we really shouldn't have been in there. But it was that's what made it fun. And it's like, and we were learning the mechanics and all that. Once you learn the mechanics, and we did the dungeons a couple times. Like you remember that boss in BFA that shot out like the dark area on the ground, and he fucking wiped us for like, I don't know, 20 minutes.
Right.
I'm just like shit like that. Like at the time I was super pissed off. I'm like, what the fuck, guys? Like don't stand in that. But looking back, it was kind of fun.
Yep.
So Yep. The next question we have is Omega Crits said, do you think the next league will be fun for SSF players?
I think it's entirely contingent upon, like, I know there'd be a vendor recipe for trading seeds, like upgrading your seeds to be better tier. But I hope there's also a vendor recipe for, like, every seed has like a damage type associated with it. So like there'll be seeds that will give you like physical mods, or a higher chance of getting physical mods when you like use the juicer. So if we can trade a certain amount of seeds to get like same with catalysts, like you can trade catalysts to get a chance of getting other catalysts. I think we need something like that, so that like I don't really want cold or ice or fire mods or seeds. I want to trade them for a chance of getting poison seeds or something. I think that is pretty crucial as a player. But I mean, the mods, like, honestly, I can't say enough. Like the mods that we've seen so far for the crafting with the Harvest League, it's so insane. Like I wouldn't even know how to describe it to people that like don't play, but like it's crazy. Some of the mods that we've seen, like holy crap, that's game changing. I think so. I think it'd be really good because I think there'd be some, how like one of our biggest complaints as SF players, like you can't really focus farm items, like uniques that you might really need for your build. And I think that this will help bridge some of that gap, because there's a lot of ones that like let you reroll a dedicated slot for a chance of getting in another dedicated slot. So that's pretty big. So it could be really good. I think that it will be OP for Trade League. Like it's going to be like Trade League characters are going to be like just insane. So
yeah, I mean, how was currency this league with like the OP-ness of all the stuff that they added from?
We talked about it. It's like I saw items for prices this league that I don't know that I've ever seen. I mean, I'm not crazy in touch with the Trade League like market, but it like, you know, like a wherever the voices gem was, like a good rolled voices gem was like just the most amount of exalts I've ever seen one single item go for.
And so as like a casual player, like let's say like I get onto it, like is that going to impact me as a new player to like be able to, because I'm not going to farm that much currency probably, right?
Yes.
So that's going to fuck me.
It will.
Right?
No, it won't fuck you actually. It will actually work in your favor, because the people that have the currency, they're just trying to get currency to get those crazy rare tier items. So like the stuff that's not meta, like you're going to get on the dirt fucking cheap. Like we saw the item we really needed, Spore Guard, which is an insane chest. It's like 3 fucking chaos, which is pennies. Like it's literally nothing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could have jumped into Trade League and built my character that I'd spent all league and SSF building for like, 15 chaos or something stupid. So
that's crazy. Hex says, if you own a bar, what would it look like? It would have pink neon lights in the background.
We were throwing this around in college because like we'd always like throw like really, really fun parties, and like people would always be like, "Oh, when are you throwing the next party?" Because we just like, we're all about beer games. Like I love beer games, like beer pong, flip cup, baseball, like all the like. It's so fun, and they can be really competitive. And when you're drinking, it's super fun. It also can be like really bad though, because if you get like poor sports plus they're drunk, like it can be kind of fucking dangerous actually. Right. So, but like I remember looking into it, and like there's like regulations around like not being able to play beer pong at a bar, and like there's like so much red tape, and plus like that scenario I just said where like dudes are like douchebags and they like are arguing about a rule in beer pong, or like someone made it or blocked a shot and
fighting. Right. Yeah.
But I mean, if everyone had like a really cool positive attitude, like I think a beer game bar would be super, super fun.
I don't know, man. I don't know if you could have some kind of techie geek bar, if that would even like make sense. But like I'm into electronics. I'm into like cool shit in video games, and so like a video game bar would be cool, but at the same time
there's plenty of those.
Yeah, like I mean like a gamer bar though. Like you're gonna sit down and like have like PCs set up where people can actually game. Mine would be more like a cafe. I don't honestly I don't know.
But with beer.
I've never thought about what kind of bar.
But you're such a heavy drinker, P. I don't understand.
I know, it doesn't make sense, right? I'm such an alcoholic.
Yeah. Do you think you'll ever try alcohol in your life?
Probably not. No. It would be weird. Yeah. Because like I feel like at this point I've already committed.
Sure.
It's like
yeah, you're like 65, 70.
Yeah, I'm like, just 66.
A couple more years.
Yeah. Still got my hair though. Still good. Yeah, we'll see if I ever do, but I don't know. If I owned I'll flip it a little bit and say if I owned a restaurant, what kind of food would I serve? What kind of style restaurant would it be? Man, I think I'd have an Italian place. Like I love Italian food.
There's so many bad Italian restaurants though.
Yeah. They're like
it'd be hard.
All of them. Like all the chains, like Olive Garden and like people are like, I love Olive. I'm like, dude,
what is wrong with you?
Shit. Yeah. Have you been to a real place before ever? Like, do they have some good places in Kansas City? I guess like we have some really good places in St. Louis. So
I struggle to think of really good Italian food in Kansas City. I really do. We have some really we honestly have maybe the best Indian food in the nation. Really? Yeah, it's really weird.
I don't think I've ever tried Indian food.
Oh my god. There's Indian food and there's, oh my God, Indian.
When the corona comes off lockdown, man, I might have to take a trip out to KC.
Hell yeah, dude.
Maybe we'll do a pod for like a
yeah, I'm set up for it. Let's go, dude.
Let's do it. So maybe we'll do that. All right, the last question comes from Dirty Nap. He says, if you and your friends could say, well, at least they died doing what they loved, what would be your cause of death?
Playing Diablo 4 for like 75 hours straight or something.
There's like a guy that died from playing WoW for too long.
D3 and WoW, yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy. There was a guy that died playing D3 too. Really? I didn't know about that guy.
Yep.
Fuck, man. What a bad choice.
He died doing what he loved, P.
I guess, man. I guess. I mean, this is a family-friendly podcast, so let's,
okay, nice.
Nice. What I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah, that'd probably be a good way to go.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably not for them. You know what I mean?
No, it'd be terrible.
If you like just fell on top of them and then like, what the fuck, get off.
Yeah, man. Fuck. That's tough. You want to leave your significant with that image?
How mortified would they be?
Imagine like maybe there was time to save you, but they just can't move. Like because you're just like
laying on them. You're just so heavy.
There's like a horror movie, isn't there? Like where like a guy like ties up his lady and then he like has a heart attack and then she's like fucking stuck.
I don't know.
I don't know.
What do you watch? Dude?
Honestly I haven't seen the movie. I just saw the preview.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure. That's it, man. That's all the Twitter questions we got today. If you guys, like I said, if you guys want to submit those, the best spot is to join our Discords, or you can tweet at us. Follow us on Twitter if you're not. Check out the Patreon if you want to hear the pre-podcast segments. There's also some special shout outs and things you can get on the podcast if you're interested in those too. So you can check out the Patreon. And that's it, man. If you guys want to catch more of me, you can find me at ThaPChild everywhere.
Yeah. And I'm Lord_Fluffy, double those underscores on the Twitter. We'll see you boys next week for 103.
103. 103. Peace.